Picture yourself stepping back in time to witness one of humanity's most remarkable achievements. In the heart of ancient South Asia stood a civilization so advanced that it continues to astound archaeologists and historians to this day. Welcome to the Indus Valley Civilization, a testament to human ingenuity that flourished between 3300 and 1300 BCE in what is now modern-day Pakistan and northwestern India. Unlike the imposing pyramids of Egypt or the mighty ziggurats of Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley presents us with a different kind of wonder. Here, we find cities designed with mathematical precision, their streets laid out in perfect grids, creating an urban planning marvel that would not be matched for millennia. These streets, straight as rulers and wide enough for ox carts to pass, were complemented by an underground sewage system so sophisticated that it surpassed those of many 19th-century European cities. What makes this civilization particularly fascinating is its peaceful nature. While other ancient societies left behind extensive records of warfare and conquest, the Indus Valley sites have yielded no evidence of armies, weapons of war, or violent conquest. This suggests a society that potentially valued cooperation over conflict, trade over warfare. The civilization emerged in the fertile valleys of the Indus and Sarasvati rivers, where regular flooding provided rich soil for agriculture. This geographic blessing allowed the development of one of the world's first great urban civilizations. The region's strategic location facilitated trade with Mesopotamia and other contemporary civilizations, as evidenced by Indus Valley artifacts found as far away as ancient Sumer. At its peak, this sophisticated urban society covered an area larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. The civilization developed standardized weights and measures, created intricate jewelry, and produced sophisticated pottery. They built multi-story buildings with advanced water management systems, including private baths and wells, luxuries that wouldn't become common in many parts of the world for thousands of years. The Indus Valley people developed their own writing system, which remains undeciphered to this day, adding an air of mystery to their remarkable achievements. They created a unique cultural identity that combined technological advancement with artistic excellence, as seen in their detailed craftsmanship and sophisticated urban planning. These achievements become even more impressive when we consider their time period. While Europe was still in its Bronze Age and Stonehenge was being constructed, the people of the Indus Valley had already built multiple cities with populations estimated in the tens of thousands, complete with advanced sanitation systems and complex social organization. This civilization challenges our understanding of ancient societies and reminds us that sophistication and technological advancement are not linear progressions through time. The Indus Valley stands as a testament to human capability and ingenuity, demonstrating that complex, well-organized urban societies existed far earlier than many might imagine. Their legacy invites us to reconsider our assumptions about ancient civilizations and their capabilities. It shows us that the foundations of urban living, public sanitation, standardized construction, and organized society were laid not just in the commonly celebrated civilizations of Egypt and Mesopotamia, but also in the remarkable cities along the Indus River, where an extraordinary society created one of humanity's first great urban cultures. If you're ready to dive into this fascinating journey through ancient history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Legacy of Empires channel so you don't miss any of our adventures through the past. Deep within the ancient landscapes of South Asia lie two archaeological treasures that have revolutionized our understanding of early urban civilization. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro stand as masterpieces of ancient engineering, their ruins whispering tales of remarkable technological achievement and sophisticated urban planning. These cities were built with an almost obsessive attention to mathematical precision. Every mud brick was molded to standardized dimensions, creating a unified architectural harmony that extended throughout entire cities. Imagine walking through streets designed on a perfect grid system, where main thoroughfares, some as wide as 30 feet, intersected at precise right angles, creating an urban layout that would not look out of place in a modern city plan. The engineering prowess of the Indus Valley people reached its pinnacle in their water management systems. Beneath these ancient streets ran a complex network of covered drains, carefully sloped to allow gravity to carry waste and water away from residential areas. These drains, lined with precisely fitted bricks and equipped with inspection holes for maintenance, connected to larger main sewers that carried waste outside the city walls. In Mohenjo-Daro, the Great Bath stands as the crowning achievement of their hydraulic engineering. This massive structure, measuring approximately 40 feet long, 20 feet wide, and 8 feet deep, was built with such precision that its walls still retain water today. The bath was lined with bitumen to make it watertight, surrounded by a complex of rooms, and featured sophisticated water supply and drainage systems. This architectural marvel suggests not only advanced engineering capabilities, but also hints at the cultural and possibly religious significance of water in their society. The residential areas tell an equally compelling story of advanced urban living. Two-story homes, built around central courtyards, featured private wells and bathrooms connected to the city's drainage system. These houses were constructed with thick walls to provide insulation against the harsh climate, with windows positioned to maximize air circulation. The standardized street width ensured adequate ventilation and sunlight reached all parts of the city. Public wells were strategically placed throughout the urban landscape, typically one well for every 3 houses. The careful planning extended to the construction of covered drains along the streets, with branches connecting to each house. These drains were equipped with removable covers for cleaning and maintenance, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of urban sanitation needs. The citadel mounds at both Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, elevated on artificial platforms, showcase the builder's ability to protect important structures from flooding while creating impressive landmarks visible from afar. These platforms, built with millions of fired bricks, required precise engineering calculations to ensure stability and drainage. The granaries found in these cities reveal advanced knowledge of food storage and distribution. These structures featured innovative ventilation systems, raised platforms to protect against moisture, and carefully planned loading docks, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of food preservation and urban provisioning. Archaeological evidence also points to the existence of craft workshops, organized in specific city sectors. These areas have yielded remains of shell working, bead making, metalworking, and pottery production, indicating a well-organized industrial economy with standardized production methods. The material culture recovered from these sites speaks of a society with refined aesthetic sensibilities. Perfectly spherical stone balls, precise weights and measures, and intricately carved seals demonstrate their mastery of both practical and decorative arts. The technical skill required to create such items, combined with their standardization across different cities, suggests a highly organized society with established trade and quality control systems. These archaeological remains paint a picture of a civilization that was far ahead of its time in urban planning, public health, and engineering. The careful integration of practical necessity with aesthetic harmony in their city design reveals a sophisticated understanding of urban living that would not be matched for thousands of years. Unlike other ancient civilizations that left behind names of kings, queens, and heroes, the Indus Valley Civilization presents us with an intriguing anomaly, a highly advanced society whose individual actors remain largely anonymous. Yet, through the remarkable artifacts they left behind, we can paint vivid portraits of the people who built and maintained this sophisticated urban culture. The master craftsmen of the Indus Valley stand as silent artisans of extraordinary skill. Their work with steatite seals represents some of the finest microscopic carving known from the ancient world. These artisans created intricate designs smaller than a postage stamp, featuring detailed images of unicorns, tigers, elephants, and mysterious creatures that appear to be hybrids of multiple animals. Each seal required immense skill and patience, first carved into the soft steatite, then fired at high temperatures to achieve a glass-like hardness. The merchants of this civilization were likely among the world's first great traders. Archaeological evidence suggests they navigated the Indus River in boats, carrying goods to distant lands. Their trade networks extended from Afghanistan and Central Asia to the Persian Gulf and Mesopotamia. These anonymous entrepreneurs used standardized weights and measures, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of commerce and fair trade practices. The farmers of the Indus Valley were agricultural innovators who mastered the art of cultivating diverse crops in challenging conditions. They grew wheat, barley, dates, melons, and cotton, understanding the rhythm of the monsoons and the flooding patterns of the rivers. Their agricultural expertise supported urban populations that numbered in the tens of thousands. Perhaps most intriguing are the administrators who managed these complex urban centers. Without leaving their names, they created and maintained sophisticated systems of urban planning, waste management, and standardized construction. The precision of their city plans and the uniformity of their building standards suggest a highly organized bureaucracy that functioned efficiently across vast distances. The artifacts they left behind tell compelling stories. The famous dancing girl of Mohenjo-Daro, a small bronze statue showing remarkable understanding of human anatomy and movement, suggests sophisticated metallurgy and artistic expression. The priest-king statue, though its actual significance remains debated, shows detailed craftsmanship in depicting clothing and facial features. Their seals provide windows into their beliefs and daily lives. One famous seal shows a figure seated in a yogic posture, surrounded by animals, possibly representing an early form of Lord Shiva or a similar deity. Another depicts a narrative scene that might represent a mythological story, though its meaning remains elusive due to our inability to decipher their script. The discovery of children's toys, small carts, whistles, and game pieces humanizes these ancient people, showing they valued play and childhood. Jewelry and cosmetic items suggest an appreciation for personal adornment, while standardized tools indicate organized craft production. Their mysterious script, found on thousands of seals and pottery pieces, tantalizingly suggests a literate society. Though undeciphered, the writing system shows clear organization and structure, with distinct patterns that indicate a sophisticated writing system used for administrative and possibly literary purposes. The artists of the Indus Valley created remarkable pottery, decorated with intricate geometric patterns and naturalistic designs. Their work shows both technical skill in clay preparation and firing, and artistic sophistication in decoration and form. The metalworkers mastered complex techniques of casting and alloying, creating tools, weapons, and decorative items that showcase their technological prowess. They worked with copper, bronze, and precious metals, creating items that were both functional and beautiful. While we may not know their names, these anonymous creators and maintainers of one of humanity's earliest urban civilizations left behind a legacy that speaks of remarkable achievement, sophisticated organization, and advanced understanding of urban living. Their story reminds us that great civilizations are built not just by kings and conquerors, but by countless individuals working together to create something greater than themselves. The decline of the Indus Valley Civilization presents one of archaeology's most compelling mysteries. This sophisticated urban society, which had flourished for nearly 2 millennia, gradually faded away, leaving behind abandoned cities and unanswered questions. The story of its decline reads like a complex environmental thriller, where multiple factors converge to challenge human adaptation and resilience. At the heart of this mystery lies dramatic climate change. Scientific evidence from geological studies, archaeological remains, and ancient climate data reveals a period of significant environmental transformation around 1900 to 1700 BCE. This period witnessed a crucial shift in the monsoon patterns that had long sustained the region's agricultural productivity. The fate of the Sarasvati River plays a pivotal role in this narrative. Once a mighty river system that flowed parallel to the Indus, geological evidence suggests it began to weaken and eventually disappeared. Satellite imagery and geological studies indicate that tectonic activity in the Himalayan region may have diverted the river's water sources, gradually reducing it to a seasonal stream before it vanished entirely. This loss would have been catastrophic for communities dependent on its waters for agriculture and transportation. Climate research has revealed a prolonged period of aridity that struck the region. Studies of lake sediments, pollen samples, and archaeological remains indicate a significant decrease in rainfall. This extended dry period would have severely impacted agricultural productivity, forcing communities to adapt or relocate. The evidence suggests that many chose to migrate eastward toward the Ganges Plain, where conditions remained more favorable. Archaeological layers from this period tell a story of gradual urban decline rather than sudden collapse. The carefully maintained drainage systems began to show signs of neglect. Building standards, once rigorously enforced, became less stringent. The standardized weights and measures, hallmarks of their sophisticated trading system, fell into disuse. The changing environment likely triggered a cascade of social and economic effects. As agricultural productivity declined, the complex urban systems became increasingly difficult to maintain. Trade networks, once spanning from Central Asia to Mesopotamia, gradually contracted. The population began to disperse, moving toward areas where farming remained viable. Recent research has also suggested the possibility of infectious diseases playing a role. The dense urban populations and sophisticated water management systems once advantages, could have become vulnerabilities during periods of environmental stress, potentially facilitating the spread of waterborne diseases. Another fascinating aspect of this decline is the apparent absence of large-scale conflict or invasion. Unlike many ancient civilizations that fell to conquest, the Indus Valley cities show no signs of violent destruction. Instead, they appear to have been gradually abandoned, their populations dispersing over generations rather than fleeing suddenly. The transformation of the urban landscape was profound. The great cities, once centers of trade and craftsmanship, slowly depopulated. However, the knowledge and traditions of the Indus Valley people didn't simply vanish. Archaeological evidence suggests that many cultural elements were preserved and transformed, influencing later South Asian civilizations. This pattern of decline offers important lessons about the relationship between climate change and human civilization. The Indus Valley people had created remarkably resilient urban systems, yet even these proved vulnerable to sustained environmental change. Their experience demonstrates how climate shifts can trigger complex cascades of social, economic, and cultural change. The story of their decline also reveals the importance of water management in sustaining complex societies. The civilization had thrived through sophisticated control of water resources, but when these systems were stressed by environmental change, the entire urban system began to unravel. Perhaps most intriguing is how this civilization adapted to decline. Rather than catastrophic collapse, we see a gradual transformation. Communities adapted, moved, and reformed. Some of their knowledge and practices were likely preserved, contributing to the development of later South Asian cultures. This narrative of decline serves as both historical record and cautionary tale. It demonstrates the vulnerability of even the most sophisticated societies to environmental change, while also showing human resilience and adaptability in the face of such challenges. The mystery of the Indus Valley's decline continues to offer valuable insights into the complex relationship between human civilization and environmental change. The Indus Valley Civilization presents us with a remarkable paradox in ancient urban societies. Archaeological evidence suggests a highly organized yet surprisingly egalitarian society, standing in stark contrast to the deeply hierarchical structures of contemporary civilizations in Egypt and Mesopotamia. Walking through the residential areas of Mohenjo-Daro or Harappa, one would notice an unusual pattern. The houses, while varying in size, share similar high-quality construction materials and access to amenities. Even the smaller dwellings were equipped with private wells and connected to the sophisticated drainage system, suggesting a society where basic comforts were widely accessible rather than restricted to an elite class. The conspicuous absence of grand palaces, imposing temples, or royal tombs, architectural features typically associated with ancient urban civilizations, speaks volumes about their social organization. Instead of concentrating resources on monuments to royal or religious power, the Indus Valley people invested in public infrastructure and urban planning that benefited the entire community. Their religious practices remain largely enigmatic, yet tantalizing clues survive in their material culture. Small terracotta figurines, found in household contexts, suggest widespread domestic religious practices. The most common are female figurines, elaborately adorned with jewelry and headdresses, possibly representing a mother goddess or fertility deity. These figures indicate a belief system that may have emphasized feminine divine power and natural fertility. The famous priest-king statue, despite its modern name, shows no clear signs of royal regalia. Instead, its carefully depicted clothing and meditative posture might represent a religious or civic leader. The absence of weapons or symbols of military power in such representations is noteworthy, suggesting a society that valued spiritual or administrative authority over martial prowess. Water clearly held deep spiritual significance. The Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, with its meticulous construction and prominent location, suggests ritualized bathing practices. This could indicate a belief system that connected physical cleanliness with spiritual purification, a concept that would later become central to South Asian religious traditions. Their seals provide glimpses into a rich mythological world. The recurring unicorn motif, rendered with remarkable consistency across hundreds of seals, likely held deep symbolic meaning. Other seals depict composite creatures and anthropomorphic figures, suggesting a complex mythology that we can only glimpse. The famous Pashupati seal, showing a seated figure surrounded by animals, hints at early beliefs that may have influenced later Hindu religious concepts. Trade appears to have been conducted with surprising standardization and fairness. The careful system of weights and measures, found consistently across different cities, suggests a society where commerce was regulated for the common good rather than the profit of a ruling class. The repeated use of the number 10 and its multiples in their measurements and urban planning might indicate its cultural or religious significance. This mathematical precision extends from their smallest artifacts to their largest buildings, suggesting a worldview that valued order and harmony. Their social organization appears to have prioritized collective well-being over individual aggrandizement. The standardized brick sizes, organized street layouts, and universal access to sanitation facilities point to a society with strong civic values and effective administrative systems. Children's toys found at various sites, including small carts, whistles, and figurines, reveal a society that valued childhood and play. The presence of games and recreational items suggests they understood the importance of leisure and social bonding. Perhaps most intriguingly, the Indus script, though undeciphered, appears on small seals and tablets rather than monumental inscriptions glorifying rulers or military conquests. This suggests a writing system used for practical administration and possibly religious purposes, rather than royal propaganda. The artistic expression found in their pottery, jewelry, and sculptures reveals a sophisticated aesthetic sense shared across social classes. The technical skill and artistic refinement of these items suggest a society where craftsmanship was highly valued and artistic expression was not limited to serving elite patrons. This nuanced picture of Indus Valley society challenges our assumptions about early urban civilizations. It presents the possibility of a complex urban society that achieved remarkable technological and cultural sophistication while maintaining relatively egalitarian social structures and placing strong emphasis on public welfare rather than individual power. Pause for a moment and reflect. Which aspect of this ancient civilization has surprised you the most so far? Share your opinion in the comments. The story of the Indus Valley unfolds like an epic saga spanning nearly 2 millennia, weaving together strands of human ingenuity, environmental adaptation, and cultural evolution. From humble agricultural beginnings around 3300 BCE, this civilization blossomed into one of history's most sophisticated urban societies, only to fade mysteriously into the mists of time. In the beginning, small farming communities dotted the fertile river valleys. These early settlers discovered the rhythm of the rivers, learning to harness the annual floods for agriculture. Gradually, these scattered settlements grew into larger villages, their success built upon increasingly sophisticated farming techniques and early trade networks. The transformation from villages to cities marks a dramatic turning point in the narrative. Around 2600 BCE, a remarkable urban revolution began. The construction of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa represents a quantum leap in human organization and engineering capability. These weren't just larger versions of existing villages, they were meticulously planned cities with architectural features centuries ahead of their time. The plot thickens as we observe the mysterious standardization that spread across their civilization. How did they achieve such remarkable consistency in their bricks, weights, and city planning across an area stretching over 500,000 square kilometers? This level of coordination, achieved without any evident central authority, presents one of the story's most intriguing puzzles. A fascinating subplot emerges in their interaction with other civilizations. Trade networks extended from Afghanistan to Mesopotamia, yet the Indus Valley maintained its distinct identity. Unlike their contemporaries, they left no tales of conquest or royal achievements. Their story suggests an alternative path to civilization, one based on commerce and cooperation rather than military might. The narrative tension builds as we examine their writing system. Thousands of seal inscriptions have been found, but their messages remain locked in an unknown script. Each attempted decipherment adds another layer of mystery to their story. What knowledge, what stories, what aspects of their lives remain hidden in these tantalizingly undeciphered symbols? The plot reaches its climax not in a dramatic collapse, but in a slow transformation. Around 1900 BCE, the first signs of change appeared. Cities that had functioned smoothly for centuries began showing signs of stress. The once immaculate drainage systems fell into disrepair. The standardized weights and measures gradually fell out of use. It was not a sudden end, but a gradual unraveling of a complex urban fabric. Environmental changes play a crucial role in this unfolding drama. The shifting monsoon patterns and the possible drying of the Sarasvati River created mounting pressure on their agricultural systems. Like a slowly tightening vice, these environmental changes forced adaptations and eventually migrations. The mystery deepens as we observe how this sophisticated society responded to mounting challenges. Unlike many ancient civilizations that ended in fire and violence, the Indus Valley cities show no signs of invasion or warfare. Instead, we see a gradual abandonment, a peaceful dispersal rather than a catastrophic collapse. The denouement of their story carries profound implications. As populations moved eastward toward the Ganges plain, they likely carried with them the seeds of their civilization's achievements. Elements of their culture, their technical knowledge, and perhaps their religious beliefs may have influenced the development of later South Asian civilizations. The narrative comes full circle as we consider their legacy. The cities they built were not rediscovered until the 1920s, yet their achievements in urban planning, sanitation, and standardization remain impressive even by modern standards. Their story challenges our assumptions about the development of civilization and raises questions about alternative paths to social complexity. The tension in their narrative lies not in battles won or empires built, but in the more subtle drama of human adaptation and resilience. How did they achieve such sophistication without apparent central authority? Why did they choose urban planning over monumental architecture? What led to their transformation rather than collapse? This story continues to resonate today as we face our own challenges of urban development, environmental change, and social organization. The Indus Valley Civilization shows us that sophisticated urban societies can develop without extreme hierarchy, that technological advancement doesn't require military dominance, and that civilization itself can take unexpected forms. Their narrative remains incomplete, with new discoveries constantly adding chapters to their story. Each archaeological find, each scientific analysis, each scholarly interpretation adds new dimensions to our understanding of this remarkable civilization. The greatest tension in their story may lie not in what we know, but in what remains to be discovered about these ancient urban pioneers. The Indus Valley Civilization, though lost to human memory for millennia, has left an indelible mark on human history that continues to resonate through time. Their achievements in urban planning, technology, and social organization provide crucial insights into human capability and the multiple paths to civilizational development. The most immediate legacy lies in their agricultural innovations. Their sophisticated understanding of crop cycles, irrigation techniques, and water management helped establish agricultural patterns that persist in South Asia to this day. The cultivation of cotton, which they pioneered, would eventually transform the region into one of the world's primary cotton-producing areas. Their early domestication of water buffalo continues to be significant in South Asian agriculture. Their urban planning principles represent, perhaps, their most remarkable legacy. The grid-patterned streets, advanced drainage systems, and emphasis on public hygiene established standards that would not be matched in many parts of the world for thousands of years. Modern urban planners still marvel at their ability to create cities that successfully balance density with livability, public spaces with private dwellings, and industrial areas with residential zones. The standardization they achieved in weights and measures laid the groundwork for organized trade across vast distances. Their carefully calibrated weight system, based on precise mathematical ratios, demonstrates an early understanding of the importance of standardization in facilitating commerce. This standardization might have influenced later South Asian measurement systems. Their technological innovations in metallurgy and crafts had lasting impacts. The lost wax casting technique they perfected continued to be used throughout South Asia for millennia. Their advances in jewelry making, particularly their methods of bead production and stone drilling, influence craft traditions that persist to the present day. Archaeologically, their cities provide invaluable insights into early urban development. The way they solve problems of sanitation, water supply, and traffic flow offers lessons still relevant to modern urban planning. Their solutions to issues like waste management and flood control demonstrate sophisticated engineering approaches to universal urban challenges. The apparent absence of extreme social hierarchy in their society presents an important alternative model of urban civilization. This challenges the common assumption that early complex societies necessarily required strong central authority and marked social stratification. Their example suggests possibilities for social organization that don't depend on pronounced inequality. Their trading networks established patterns of commerce that would endure for centuries. The routes they developed, connecting South Asia with Central Asia and the Middle East, prefigured later trading networks, including the famous Silk Road. Their standardized systems of weights and measures facilitated trade across cultural and linguistic boundaries. The spiritual and cultural practices of the Indus Valley people may have influenced later South Asian traditions. The importance of ritual bathing, suggested by structures like the Great Bath, resonates with later Hindu practices. The yogic posture depicted on some seals suggests early development of physical practices that would later become integral to South Asian spiritual traditions. Their artistic legacy is evident in the continuing influence of their aesthetic sensibilities. The naturalistic depiction of animals, the use of geometric patterns, and the integration of form and function in their designs would influence South Asian art for millennia. Their seal carving techniques and decorative motifs established artistic traditions that persisted long after their civilization's decline. The mystery of their undeciphered script has spurred continuing advances in archaeological and linguistic research. Attempts to decode their writing system have led to developments in the study of ancient languages and the methods used to decipher unknown scripts. Their writing system represents one of the world's earliest examples of complex symbolic communication. Environmental lessons from their civilization remain relevant today. Their adaptation to changing climate conditions, their water management strategies, and their eventual transformation in response to environmental challenges offer important insights for societies facing similar challenges in the modern world. Their legacy in metalworking and craft production established technological traditions that influenced subsequent civilizations. Their sophisticated understanding of copper alloying, their standardized brick production, and their advanced stoneworking techniques set standards that would be followed for generations. Perhaps most importantly, the Indus Valley Civilization demonstrates that sophisticated urban society, technological advancement, and cultural refinement were achieved in South Asia at a very early date. This challenges Eurocentric views of civilizational development and highlights the multiple centers of early human achievement. Their example continues to influence our understanding of urban development, social organization, and technological innovation. As we face modern challenges of sustainable urban living, social equality, and environmental adaptation, the achievements and approaches of the Indus Valley Civilization offer valuable perspectives and potential solutions. The rediscovery of this civilization in the 20th century has transformed our understanding of ancient history and human capability. Their legacy reminds us that sophisticated solutions to complex social and technical problems were achieved much earlier than previously thought, and that there are multiple paths to developing advanced civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization stands as a profound reminder that human progress follows no predetermined path. This remarkable society challenges our modern assumptions about ancient capabilities and social development, offering valuable insights for our contemporary world. Their achievements were extraordinary. Cities designed with mathematical precision, advanced water management systems, standardized weights and measures, and a sophisticated writing system. Yet perhaps their most remarkable legacy lies not in their technological innovations, but in their apparent ability to maintain a complex urban society without extreme social hierarchies or evidence of warfare. The mystery of their undeciphered script serves as a humbling reminder of how much ancient knowledge remains beyond our grasp. Despite our advanced modern technologies and archaeological techniques, we still cannot read their words or fully understand their thoughts. Each artifact we uncover raises as many questions as it answers. Their eventual decline offers crucial lessons about the delicate relationship between human societies and environmental change. The gradual abandonment of their cities demonstrates how even the most sophisticated civilizations can be vulnerable to shifting climate patterns and environmental pressures. This has particular resonance in our current era of climate change and environmental challenges. The Indus Valley people achieved remarkable feats of urban planning that wouldn't be matched for thousands of years. Their cities featured amenities that many 19th century European cities lacked, yet they eventually faded away, leaving their remarkable achievements to be rediscovered by archaeologists millennia later. This reminds us that progress is not guaranteed to be permanent or continuous. Their apparent emphasis on public infrastructure and communal well-being, rather than monumental displays of power, suggests alternative possibilities for organizing complex societies. In an age when we grapple with questions of sustainability and social equity, Their example provides food for thought about different ways of structuring urban civilization. The transition from their height to eventual decline was not a sudden collapse, but a gradual transformation. Their knowledge and practices likely influenced later South Asian cultures in ways we are still working to understand. This suggests that even when civilizations fall, their legacy often continues in subtle and enduring ways. As we face our own contemporary challenges, climate change, urbanization, social inequality, the Indus Valley Civilization offers both inspiration and warning. They demonstrate humanity's capacity for remarkable achievement while reminding us of our vulnerability to environmental change. Their story continues to unfold as new archaeological discoveries and scientific techniques reveal more about their lives and achievements. Each new finding adds another piece to this fascinating puzzle, even as core mysteries remain unsolved. The Indus Valley reminds us that the past is not a simple story of primitive societies evolving into more advanced ones, but a complex tapestry of human achievement, adaptation, and transformation. And so we leave these ancient cities, their carefully planned streets now silent, their precise bricks still standing after thousands of years. They remind us that civilizations rise and fall, that progress can be lost as well as gained, and that perhaps our own achievements are more fragile than we imagine. In studying their story, we might find wisdom to help navigate our own challenging times. And with this, we conclude another incredible journey through ancient history. If you enjoyed this time-traveling adventure, please don't forget to like, share this video with friends who love history, and comment about your favorite part. To ensure you don't miss our future explorations into the past, make sure to subscribe to the Legacy of Empires channel and turn on notifications.